The Gridiron is sponsored by Rothman Orthopedic.
Welcome to this week's edition of The Gridiron, sponsored by Rothman Orthopedics. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. Springfield fell this past week, 42-23 to Wilson Westlawn. Coach, obviously not the result you were looking for. Is this one of those games you just move on from, or are you going to still find some sort of learning experiences from this game, too?
Well, I think you can always learn things. We've struggled. First of all, I'll say this. Our defense played very, very well. And that's something that's improved. Now, you say 42 points. How did they play well?
Yeah.
At the end of the first quarter, it was 3-0. There was a 4-minute stretch in the second quarter where we had a punt blocked inside. I'm not exactly sure. It was inside our own 30.
30, yep.
And then we had a pass protection breakdown the following series on the third play that resulted in a fumble inside the 30. And Wilson scored 2 quick touchdowns when it was 7-3, and that made it 21-3. So that little sequence was really hard to overcome. It obviously was gift wrapped for Wilson, and there were some plays, in the first quarter we had another drive. I'm sorry, in the second quarter we had another drive where we got down there and kind of didn't put points on the board.
You went for it on fourth down, I think. So
yeah, we were on like the 35 or something. It would have been a really healthy field goal, and so we went for it and thought we had a good play call. Didn't run it perfectly, and they sniffed it out. But it's just one of those things. Like there's certain elements that put us behind the 8 ball when we play schools that have like a strength program like Wilson, like Exeter, it's tough. We're going into this week. We're beat up. We have that wears on you, and we're going to have some guys not playing on Friday because of it. So, or not practicing during the week. Getting a full week of practice. So, it's tough.
I mean, you talked about it. Offense struggled, I thought, in the first half. I thought you really struggled running the ball, and that was just all night long. And like you said there, those special teams blunders were just huge. Yeah. They were so costly. You talk about things.
Then the kickoff return in the second half.
Right, that's exactly where
we go down, score.
You give that up, you score again, and then you give up the 70-yard run. So when the offense did start getting going a little bit in the second half, you gave up big plays and got nothing out of all that hard work that you put into those drives, essentially, too.
Right. So one of the things that we need to do as if we look at a holistic view, is our offense needs to have long drives, put long drives together, and gas the other team. And that's kind of what was happening to both teams eventually. Our defense was on the field too long. For us to run the ball effectively, we need Ryan Angro to pull it and also run the ball. We're not big up front. We have 3 linemen under 220, and so it's difficult. So we know we're going to have to put them in really good spots where we're going to have to make good play calls to have a positive advantage in the run game, but we also need Ryan to be able to pull the ball. Ryan's runs on Friday night, I think there was only one time that he pulled the ball, and the other times running were more like scrambling situations, which we don't want him to be in.
It's either these options.
Right. We want to control the quarterback running game, and so.
Yeah, I mean, once again, you talk about things about this team in the past that have led to success. Special teams has always been a big highlight for you guys. Selman did a great job kicking off, but the one that he didn't get to the end zone is returned. You struggled with punt. I thought there was a couple, poor snaps in the special team. I mean, special teams really was what broke the camel's back in that game for you guys right there.
Yeah, I mean, right, exactly. It wasn't the only factor
Yeah.
in everything, but it certainly was not good. And we spend a lot of time on special teams, so for those breakdowns to occur, and you know, we actually, in some ways, tried to fortify. We still would have gotten that punt off, but some guys that we put in to fortify the situation didn't come through.
Okay.
And so that's where you get upset with it all. You know,
That's where I was going. Are we talking about some changes here in special teams here? You know?
well, there has to be.
There
has to be. You know, and it falls on my feet, but you know, we have coaches that are in charge of each special team, and they need to check with me on personnel every week, and I rubber stamp it or say no. Like that kid, you know, I'm watching that kid in practice, and I'm not comfortable with it. So, you know, there's some things looking back where I should have jumped in on Friday night and said, no, we're not going to do this or we're not going to do that. You know, we thought we could. You know, what a huge advantage when your kicker is able to kick it into the end zone.
Both kickers did a really good job of that.
And Grant has done an excellent job. And really, quite honestly,
I don't think none of his Grant's fault.
No, I'm not right. But the kickoff that he had, he put it right where we wanted it, and guys didn't do their job.
Yep.
So, and, you know, last year we got really hurt in that game by a punt return where guys didn't do their job. We knew exactly what they were doing. Actually, Taylor Smith outkicked the coverage, like the ball rolled 20 yards and then the kid picked it up. And so that's frustrating. It's hard on special teams when you are struggling with depth in your offense and defense. And, you know, there's a big drop-off between varsity guys that already play varsity and guys that aren't. Usually you have a lot more guys kind of in between, and we don't have that depth right now. And it's very difficult. It makes special teams difficult because you can't run the guy playing defense can't run down on 4 special teams or run back on 4. You can't do it effectively.
Before we go offensive highlights, what's your concern level right now of A, being 0-2 at home, and B, potentially going 1-3 through this non-league, you know, before pack play starts, you know, just in the grand scheme of things of the season, those two things, 0-2 at home and the potential 1-3.
I don't, you know, you want to perform well in front of your home crowd, but our toughest games of the 3 have been at home, and it just, you know, kind of laid out that way. You know, at the same time, you know, if all your quote unquote easier games are at home and you win, like, so what?
Okay.
But it is, the alert level is on, I don't know, orange,
not quite
red.
critical. Not quite critical.
No, it is. It's close.
Okay.
Like, you know, I told the guys, for us, you know, our goal is always to win the pack and also make playoffs. So certainly pack play hasn't started yet, but if you go 3 losses in your non-league, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be difficult to make playoffs. So even though we play, you know, 1 5A team, we play all 6As. But that crossover game at the end, if you already have 3 losses and you have to play a AAA team, that can really hurt.
Big crusher. All right, Coach, good stuff right there. With all that said, let's take a look at the offensive highlights from Spring Forward Wilson.
Offensive highlights are sponsored by Euro Motor Cars of Devon.
So we had a lot of big plays. As you know, Ryan set a record for with over 400 yards passing. This is a pass to Dante Benani, little RPO. Ryan did a great job, especially in the second half. He was a little off in the first half, but the one thing our receivers did a great job of was run after the catch. You know, Dante added, 30 yards to that play. Here's another one. Blaise Scarcelli makes the first guy miss and gets all the way across midfield. You know, that's what we felt coming into the season that our guys could do. They're all over 6'1", 6'2". They're big kids. They're 190 pounds.
He had a chance to sit in the pocket there too. You know, the offensive line.
Yep. This is a little earlier in the game. This is actually the first play of the game. First play of the game. Yeah. This is a screen pass to Andrew Yoon. Andrew got hurt later in the game. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks.
That shoulder,
which is
yeah.
a real huge hit to our defense. But he did a great job there. We kind of knew they were going to try to bring pressure early, and we wanted to show different looks for screens.
We showing the same play again here, Coach?
It looks like it.
Yep. Double it up.
Well, that's got to be back in our editing control room. An error there, but it's
go.
worth looking at again.
This is dark. It's a little later in the night here.
Yeah, this is a pass over the top to Dante Benani. He did get his foot in, and then this is a subsequent play to B.J. Beard. We had a little package where we were going really fast and switching in receivers on the same corner. We did that 2 times. This time we did it effectively. Earlier in the game we didn't, but we were really trying to hurry and make
this is a really good catch.
Yeah, really good catch by B.J. Beard. I was hoping he got his rear end down there. He was up in the air a little long, but he made the catch. But, we spread the ball around quite a bit. We had 2 receivers over 100 yards. We had other receivers with significant plays and maybe 7 or 8 guys with catches. We just need to be more effective earlier in the game. We were effective on the first drive, then we stalled.
Yeah, then it was a bunch of like 3 and outs, yeah.
Yeah, we knew we were going to throw, and we knew that it would, running the ball would be a little more tough for us. But, when you get behind, the passing numbers tend to accumulate. So, or the attempts tend to accumulate because you got to get back as quickly as you can. But that's not where we want to be. We always talk about trying to be more balanced.
Okay.
Certainly we're going to throw a little bit more. That's where our strength is. But, we definitely have to be more balanced going forward.
All right, Coach, good stuff right there. I'll take a quick break here, all right?
Yep.
All right, take a quick commercial break here, and we'll be back with the defensive highlights from Springford Wilson.
What are you, superheroes?
Just 4 brothers who hate bullies and love this city.
Whoa!
Gear up, guys.
Welcome back to the Gridiron, sponsored by Rothman Orthopedics. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. Coach, I was sitting there during the commercial, and I was thinking something. You were talking a little bit about the pace of the game a little bit there. So, if we're not going to run, right, or not to say we're not going to run, but
Right.
limited
We're gonna
running,
run.
right? And we're throwing incomplete passes. That clock stopped. And could we almost, I know we're still no huddle and we're signal, but almost have like a thing, all right, we're not going to snap the ball till 10, 12 on the play clock there too, right?
And a lot of times it is getting down close
okay.
to that, but we need to do there's a couple things we need to do a better job of, and that is, trying to force guys to jump off sides. We haven't done a great job of that. Also, I would say, like, we went back and looked at it a little bit, and there's too many 3 and outs, if that's what you're referring to. The one thing that was surprising on Friday night, and I was really surprised they did this, they went straight man for most of the game, which if you would have asked me, I would hope that they would do that. Now, we know then that we're going to get more pressure, that they can always bring one more than you can block.
Sure.
But, that makes it somewhat more simple for the quarterback in terms of, all right, I know
where I'm going to go with the ball.
Correct.
Too, yeah.
And they, in the second half, they did double Dante Benani a little bit. But for the most part, that made it, quote unquote, easier to process. And, we just were off a little bit. We were off a little bit on some of our throws. We were off a little bit. We dropped a couple balls. What it does take away is it takes away, if you go man, it takes away a little of those long handoffs, meaning like the bubbles and the quick screens to the wide receiver. You can't do some of that. So that's another way to, it counts as passes, but that's another way that we
Get the
look
clock
at
going. Yeah,
to
yeah.
keep the
I got
clock
you,
going.
go.
Simple things. So we missed a couple. We dropped a couple, and those add up.
Yeah, I saw there's even times in the second half where like you had trips on one side and you had a receiver solo, and the other three guys were essentially even moving. It was just you knew you were.
Well, that was part of the package that we did. We actually did that. Like, there's a 3-play right as quick. Like, so the first guy that runs, which was Dante, if the ball's caught, we run up. If the ball's not caught, Dante steps out of bounds and a new dude steps in.
And then you just kind of cycle
And then
that guy.
we're trying to get the ball in real quickly to the referees. And the first play of that, the guys just stand there. That was part of what we did. Just
Gotcha.
To be silly, I
See,
guess.
I picked up some things
Very
a little
good.
bit. I was watching. I paid
for
attention on
you.
Friday night. Kudos to me for every once in a while. All right, so announcement here. This is the big week, Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday's a pig roast at the VFW, $20. See a football parent or football family for those tickets.
Great
Or you
turnout.
can show up. You're welcome to show up.
Just come on,
Just
yeah.
come on down.
And great turnout for youth night too. It was electric at
Yeah.
the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
too.
it was. It was a lot of fun. Youth night's always fun, getting to talk to the kids, and they're all enthusiastic and yelling. And actually, I give credit to their coaches and to their parents. They did a good job before the game. Like, there's kids that want to
Go
touch
crazy,
each
yeah.
other, but they did a pretty good job of listening. So.
All right, Coach. Good stuff right there. So we talked defense, and you were happy with the effort on the defense on the
yeah.
game. Like even
I
though
mean,
you
it was
look at the
3-0
score, you're
after
like,
the first quarter,
Right.
and the drive that they had that they scored, I think they started maybe on their own 40. So it was a 60-yard drive. Like they stopped them on 4th down in the first quarter. They forced them to punt twice. We got an interception on a longer drive in the first quarter. So, they were doing their job. And in the second half, there were some mental lapses on those long runs. We
you also had some
wrong-shouldered.
subs you got some backup guys in that
Yeah, we
stage of the
did
game
have
too,
some
right?
backup guys, and we had some guys that were just on the field, way too long.
I thought their quarterback did an outstanding job. Like it was almost you kind of said like, all right, we're gonna make you throw the ball to beat us a little bit earlier, and like he did. He made some nice plays out in the flat. He hit some passes there early. Kind of made you say, all right, well we got to cover the.
The one thing that I thought their receivers did a good job of was, first of all, they're really controlling their quarterback, like he's managing the game. So they got him some easier throws.
Stuff out
and
in
then
the flat, yeah.
and then their wide receivers made a couple plays. Like, their first touchdown, I think it was their first touchdown. I want to say it was their first touchdown. Like, we're playing man. Now, I'm not saying we played flawlessly defensively. Their first touchdown, like, we're in straight man and we weren't lined up. We were trying to figure it out. And, we got out there late. They threw to the right kid. Really, if we were lined up properly, they could have even run that particular play, or it would have been broken up, and we just were late lining up, and stuff like that can't
I
happen.
thought his play allowed the run to really get going for them too. Like if he struggles maybe throwing the ball a little bit, then you can really kind of hunker in on the run a little bit. But I thought his play opened up their playbook
until
a little.
late. In the first half, they didn't run the ball very well at all. Our kids did a pretty good job of that, and then as the game wore on, they did a better job in the running game.
Yeah, just my hot take, right? Is that
you go.
allowed to say that? A hot
I don't
take
know
on
if
the
it's
game.
a hot take.
It's
a
my take on the not hot. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. All right. With all that said, let's look at the defensive highlights.
Defensive highlights are sponsored by Meshock Physical Therapy.
So we had some good reads on what they were doing. So
That's the interception. Yeah.
yeah, our kids were aware that this was going to be a pass, and it was tipped. And great job. Now that was a penalty in the NFL game.
Slam.
Yeah, interesting. So, great job there. Nate Capers tips the ball and Mason Brill's Johnny on the spot and makes a play. We did bring some pressure time to time. We had a good read on when the quarterback was going to run the ball, and we picked up that fumble, forced a fumble, and I think Nick Teets was the one that got on this one. Mason Brill was the one that forced it. So we got a couple turnovers. We got 3 turnovers, but ultimately,
unable to just weren't able to get anything going out of them.
right. So ultimately, I think this is this is a great play by J. Seth Owens here. They ran this play a number of times.
And they were getting him in the flat a little bit earlier, too.
Right, we were just a little late to it. This time, J. Seth picked up on it and made a nice play. This might, here's a sack. Early in the game, we got some pressure. Look, you see we're lining up late there, but we got some good pressure. Good job there by Johnny Pergine to get to the quarterback and on his blitz. So.
All right, Coach. Good stuff right there. All right, Wilson's in the books here. We got to do another Berks County game, though, all right?
Yeah.
All right, make sure you stay tuned through the commercial break, and we'll preview the game with Exeter.
Hi, I'm Peter, and there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends.
Come on in. Help yourself to anything.
That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit savethefood.com.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Welcome back to the Gridiron, sponsored by Rothman Orthopedic. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. All right, Coach, we did one Berks County team. Now we got to play another Berks County team. This one we got to travel to.
Yeah.
Last year, overtime against Exeter, right?
Up to 422.
Yeah,
Pipeline.
you got to go down the road there.
So yeah. Last year was overtime. It was a really tough game, and again, it was one of those situations, kind of a little bit like last week, where we threw the ball more than we wanted to. We weren't very effective at throwing the ball, it's going to be interesting. Our staff has been debating what Exeter basically has had two distinct game plans against us defensively, and we're trying to figure out which one.
they're
You
going
got to
with.
prepare kind of for both. But, we have our theories on which one, especially after seeing what Wilson did Friday night, and maybe,
They'll be like, all right, maybe we can try this too, yeah.
reinforcing some of the things that they saw. So,
All right, Coach, good little thoughts on Exeter. How about we see Exeter on offense here?
okay.
Highlights are sponsored by Rental World of Limerick.
So offensively, this is last week against Lower Dauphin. They're pretty balanced. Exeter, they're really big up front. They have first period strength class too. So in terms, they're going to be big and strong coming in. I really like their running back. They lost the running back to some nonsense and some recruiting nonsense. And it was a really good back, but this kid's also pretty good.
He looks like a big receiver there too.
They have a couple receivers that are really nice size. Their quarterback is very efficient throwing the ball.
There they are with the same type of, it is the same play.
It is the same play, yeah. So you can't. They're usually one back, mostly one back. You see, there's the breakdown in coverage a little bit.
Yep.
But it's just all verts, as we call it, and they just. Lower Dauphin's playing three deep. The safety, for some reason, goes
outside.
Goes the wrong way. He's supposed to sit in the middle and didn't. And the quarterback can run a little bit too. You see here.
They all bite on the running back there too.
Not really good support there by the corner.
I mean,
but
watch everybody. Oh yeah.
But we had some issues with corner support late in the second half and linebacker support in the quarterback running game. So we're really going to have to be cognizant of that quarterback.
Here he is scrambling, finds a guy, makes a play.
Yeah, really nice job by the linemen. Don't get downfield on this play either, and they do a good job of kind of
hanging out.
Yeah.
And the running back just kind of says, "I'm just going to go," and he finds him. Broken
out this
play
island.
sometimes.
Broken play. So yeah, they did. So that actually encapsulates everything that they do well. They do a little bit of everything they can. The quarterback running game, the running back, regular traditional running game. They pass pretty well, efficiently, and when the play breaks down, they're athletic. So it's for our defense, it's a tough task.
All right, and you said previously about the defense. You've seen them, 2 different game plans and what they've done for you out there.
Yeah.
What are you expecting from this team?
Well, I mean, it's like kind of what I'm saying is 2 years ago, they kind of vacated the box the last time we went up there and we ran for 300 yards. And then last year, they said, we're just going to play straight man coverage, blitz people everywhere, and, it went into overtime. So I don't know what they're going to do. Like, you have to have confidence in your kids playing man-to-man coverage. You can't just hope that they're good. You have to have a pretty good idea that they can do it. So, we're not sure. We're prepping for both. We have a little bit of this and a little bit of that in the game plan. So we'll go from there.
All right, Coach, good stuff. Let's look at Exeter on defense.
Highlights are sponsored by Rental World of Limerick.
Lower Dolphin was somewhat vanilla. I'm being kind on that. They were double tight flanker, shotgun. I don't know what shotgun gets you if you're double tight flanker, but they were a little vanilla, so to speak. And Exeter, you play who's there. So
Yeah.
Exeter did their job. They had a couple of big interceptions.
Look at the pressure here.
They got a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They shut down the running game. Quarterback.
The C's open up right there.
And he's a little bit in trouble there. That's not right.
That's a Lower Dolphin
That's
going
Lower
to the house.
Dolphin pick 6. What is going on around here? That was probably my fault. That might be mislabeled in huddle as a Exeter defensive play, which I.
Yeah, your defense can get points there if they have a pick 6.
Exeter had a pick 6. It's right here actually, and so maybe those two got mixed up on the. Oh no, it's not. This is just an interception. I'm not sure if this was the one he took back.
Oh, don't hit him in the back.
Little clip there. There's another one that
they
they
got
took
the
back, and
flanker.
I think what happened was it's mislabeled in huddle, and I reversed it. So, but they had a couple interceptions, one for return for a touchdown. So did Lower Dolphin. so that probably got mixed up. Although maybe it might be here. Yep, this is the one. So this was their other interception that they had, and they returned it for a touchdown.
Boom.
So there you go. So they do a good job. They give you, they gave Lower Dolphin a variety of coverages. We're going to have to be aware of, what they're in, and they give multiple fronts. They like to blitz the safety a lot, which is something that we don't see very often. So, we have our work cut out for us. You're exactly right. There were other situations in my time at Springford. I think there was at least one where we were 1-2, and we came back, I think, to win 9 games that year. So it's, but you can't afford to go 1-3. If we do, we'll find our way through it. But we got to fight to get 2-2. And honestly, with as many injuries and things that have happened, we come out of our non-league 2-2. We're going to have a lot of sophomores that get significant playing time on Friday. I was at the JV game Monday, and I'm like, we're missing 6 or 7 sophomores on the JV team
Because now they're up with
because they're either injured or they're playing up, and we have to fight through the growing pains of having young guys playing. And coming out 2-2, we'll probably look back and say, all right, we fought through that to get to there. So,
all right, Coach. Well, best of luck to you and the crew on Friday night up there, 422 way up in Exeter.
right.
Field looked like it, nice turf, but a little like that shiny turf, kind of like the last
Exeter's
generation.
Field, I love Exeter's. Don Thomas Stadium.
Yeah, it's like kind of like
Nice brick,
in like
sits down in, nice
Yeah.
brick
I know.
facade.
I know.
Not even a facade. It's a real brick brick along the top. It's a really nice setting.
You like the spot?
Oh, yeah, it's nice.
All right, Coach. Good luck.
All right, thanks.
All right, make sure you tune in next week as we recap the game with Exeter and preview the start of Pack play with Norristown. For the head coach, Chad Brubaker, I'm John Brennan. See you next time on the Gridiron.